Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Shri Radhe. Jaya Panchatattva, Jaya Panchatattva, Panchatattva, Jaya Panchatattva. Jaya Prahlad Narasimha, Jaya Prahlad Narasimha, Jaya Prahlad Narasimha, Jaya Prahlad Narasimha. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Gaur Premanande. Readings from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 19, The Killing of the Demon Hiranyaksha. Today we will see text 22. So before getting into the text, we will chant the auspicious invocation prayers. I will chant, please try to repeat. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskritya naran chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udiraye nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavatyuttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. prāduṣkṛtānāṁ māyānām, prāduṣkṛtānāṁ māyānām, āsurīṇāṁ vināśayat, āsurīṇāṁ vināśayat, sudarśana-astram bhagavān, sudarśana-astram bhagavān prāyuṅkta dayitam tri-pāt prāyuṅkta dayitam tri-pāt prāduṣkṛtānāṁ māyānām āsurīṇāṁ vināśayat sudarśana-astram bhagavān prāyuṅkta dayitam tri-pāt prāduṣkṛtānāṁ māyānām āsurīṇāṁ vināśayat sudarśana-astram bhagavān prāyuṅkta dayitam tri-pāt prāduṣkṛtānāṁ māyānām āsurīṇāṁ vināśayat sudarśana-astram bhagavān prāyuṅkta dayitam tri-pāt prāduṣkṛtānāṁ māyānām āsurīṇāṁ vināśayat sudarśana-astram bhagavān prāyuṅkta dayitam tri-pāt. Matajis. prāduṣkṛtānāṁ māyānām āsurīṇāṁ vināśayat sudarśana-astram bhagavān prāyuṅkta dayitam tri-pāt prāduṣkṛtānāṁ māyānām āsurīṇāṁ vināśayat sudarśana-astram bhagavān prāyuṅkta dayitam tri-pāt prāduṣkṛtānāṁ displayed, māyānām the magical forces, āsurīṇāṁ displayed by the demon, vināśayat desiring to destroy, sudarśana-astram the sudarśana weapon, bhagavān the Supreme Personality of Godhead, prāyuṅkta through, dayitam beloved, tri-pāt the enjoyer of all sacrifices. Translation. The Lord, the personal enjoyer of all sacrifices, now discharged his beloved Sudarśana, which was capable of dispersing the magical forces displayed by the demon. Purport. Even famous yogis and demons can sometimes enact very magical feats by their mystical power. But in the presence of the Sudarshan Chakra, when it is let loose by the Lord, all magical jugglery is dispersed. The instance of quarrel between Durvāsā Muni and Mahārāja Ambarīṣa is a practical example in this matter. Durvāsā Muni wanted to display many magical wonders, but when the Sudarshan Chakra appeared, Durvāsā himself was afraid and fled to various planets for his personal protection. The Lord is described here as tri-pāt, which means that he is the enjoyer of three kinds of sacrifices. In Bhagavad-gītā, the Lord confirms that he is the beneficiary and enjoyer of all sacrifices, penances and austerities. The Lord is the enjoyer of three kinds of yajna, as further described in Bhagavad-gītā. These are sacrifices of goods, sacrifice of meditation, sacrifices of philosophical speculation. Those in the path of jnana, yoga and karma all have come in the end to the Supreme Lord because Vasudeva Sarvamiti. The Supreme Lord is the ultimate enjoyer of everything. That is the perfection of all sacrifice. Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Ajnanatimrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadadi Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurun Sri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sakagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parjana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunnavadi Paschaittya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangalangayate Grim Nitkapatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam Pramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Mishwaram Katanchana Smrite Yasmin Dushkaram Sukaram Bhavet Smrite Pritam Syat Sri Chaitanyam Namamitam Namam Vishnu Krishna Prashtaya Bhatri Srimate Jayapaka Swami Namini Namacharya Padayini Prabhudayini Gaurakata Ramatayana Gaurakata Hare Krishna. The Lord, the personal enjoyer of all sacrifices, now discharged his beloved Sudarśana, which is capable of dispersing the magical forces displayed by the demon. So now the climax has come of this Leela, which means that Hiranyaksha and the Lord Boar, Varaha, they both are fighting with each other. And this nice fight is going on. And in this fight, both of them are trying to establish their supremacy. Of course, the Lord is supreme, but the demons don't agree with that. So therefore, the demon decided that let me show my magic. I can show some magic. And what kind of magic? This is Asuri Maya. Asuri Maya is not very pleasant. And that was described in the previous verses. So many unpleasant sights, so many unpleasant things, trying to overwhelm the world with ignorance, trying to overwhelm the world with ignorance, trying to overwhelm the whole battlefield with ignorance, like that. So then there's so much of darkness and ignorance around that everyone is trying to think that, oh, this world is going to finish. Then the Lord called for his Sudarshan Chakra, like it is said, that he sent Sudarshan Chakra, okay, finish off all these things. So for Sudarshan Chakra, finishing off Asuri Maya is not very difficult. It's so bright and so effulgent, and within seconds, everything was destroyed. All this illusion created by the Asuras, within seconds it couldn't stand. It was all destroyed. And sanity came back. There was sanity. Everybody thought, okay, now it's all right. So like that, sometimes too much ignorance comes. Too much ignorance. And there is no sanity around. Everybody becomes insane. Everybody becomes insane. Kali Yuga is like that. Too much ignorance. Too much ignorance that people become insane. They become insane in various ways in Kali Yuga. They become insane by science. That they think that science is God. There's no God. There's no need for God. Science is sufficient. With science we can do everything. And then they become very insane. Now we have artificial intelligence, and everybody is going gaga over artificial intelligence. how disruptive is this technology of artificial intelligence, LLM, so many different terminologies are thrown into the field. And, oh, people can lose jobs. So many things will be taken over by artificial intelligence. And then someone is saying that beware of this artificial intelligence. You are creating so many language models. These models, they will start talking to each other. They will create their own language and encrypt it in such a way that human beings cannot find out what these things are doing. And then this artificial intelligence will rule the world. Then human intelligence will become useless. Artificial intelligence will rule the world. So many different speculation, so many different things is going on. And everything seems to be really fantastic. Everything seems to be really fantastic. You go to ChatGPT, and then you ask ChatGPT, oh, Mr. ChatGPT, you give some solution for this, then immediately it spits out an answer. And then you see the answer really scholarly, really very nice, so many things. And then now people are saying, before, software engineer means big thing. Now the trend is vibe coding. It's called vibe coding. Vibe coding means you just tell ChatGPT, I want to make one app, you make this like this, then the software will give you how to make the app, what is the code for it, everything. So many software engineers, they are mortally afraid that what is going to happen to them, their whole life is going to be destroyed. And same way in medical field also. That diagnostics is going the artificial intelligence way. So many things, they're saying that after some time, we just need computer, we don't need doctor. You sit in front of computer and then say, computer, oh my dear computer, I am having this problem. So what can I do? Then computer will tell you that, okay, eat this tablet. And then eat the tablet, and if you are lucky, you will be alive. So like this the world is going. This is called the Asuri Maya. This is called Asuri Maya. It looks very fantastic. It looks very fantastic. And then it looks as if that we don't need God. There are people who are doing in this world, anti-aging is now the biggest thing. Anti-aging. Billions of dollars is being spent on this anti-aging technology now. Age reversal. And then someone is saying, I have reversed my age, biological age by 20 years. I have reversed my biological age by 25 years. So much of thing going on that the last frontier, which is death, they are saying that, oh, that's not the last frontier. We will soon conquer the last frontier, which is death. We will do so much of age reversing, that will conquer the last frontier. Prabhupada says post-dated check. Prabhupada says post-dated check. Never believe in a post-dated check. We will do this, we will do that. So recently I was reading that there's one guy, big famous guy in age reversing in America. He put a statement, I will also die. Such a realization he had. I will also die. And then he's saying, but not of age-related causes. Suddenly he understood that death is not only due to age. You can be very young, but you can walk on the road and someone can just... So suddenly he remembered that just by reversing age, you cannot stop death. You cannot stop death. So therefore, but the narrative is so strong, that you tend to think that, oh, now things are improving, we don't need God. You tend to think like that. So this is the nature of Asuri Maya. This is the nature of the the illusion which is created by the Asuras. So therefore, in order to break this illusion, then the Lord sends His pure devotees. That's what He does. Sometimes He comes Himself, like He came as Varahadev, and then He sent Sudarshan Chakra. He said, okay, now go break this illusion. Like that, when the illusion becomes too strong, then the Lord sends, either comes Himself or sends His pure devotees. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuttanam adharmasya tadatmanam sajamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vināśayat chatuṣkṛtānāṁ dharma sansthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So, a very famous sloka in Bhagavad-gītā. And then, there's also a very nice sloka in Bhagavatam. It says that, Janasya Krishnāt vimukasya daivat adharma silasya sudukkitasya anugrahaya charanti nūnam bhūtāni bhavyāni janārdanasya. One side the Lord Himself comes, other side He sends His pure devotees. Janasya Krishnāt vimukasya daivat. When people simply turn their face away from Krishna, Janasya Krishnāt vimukasya daivat. Why did they turn their face away from Krishna? Because they fell into Krishna's arrangement, and then they turned their face away from Krishna. Adharma silasya sudukkitasya, they become very expert in performing adharma. And then what is the result of that? Sudukkitasya, they become extremely miserable, extremely miserable. So then what happens? Then all these kind of things become very popular. Ignorance becomes the way of life. Then anugrahaya charanti nūnam, anugrahaya, just to give mercy, just to distribute the mercy of the Lord. Charanti, there are certain set of people who are moving around. Generally, movement is for sense gratification. You move from one place to another place because in one place you don't have sense gratification, and in another place you have sense gratification. Or in one place you have misery, in another place you don't have misery. So both are same only. Generally, movement is for sense gratification. But then these great souls, they are also moving. They are not moving to just for sense gratification, because they belong to Krishna, Janardanasya. They belong to Krishna. They have identified themselves as belonging to Krishna. They have this feeling, or they have understood this fact that I belong to Krishna and Krishna belongs to me. So because of that belongingness, Janardanasya, Bhavyani, these are all very important people. They are not some people to be ignored. They cannot be ignored. So these people, they simply move out of costless mercy. Bhutani Bhavyani Janardanasya. They move out of costless mercy to save these conditioned souls. So like that, when in this Kali Yuga, the ignorance became very strong. Then Prabhupada appeared in this world in order to drive away that ignorance. Just like Sudarshan Chakra was sent. Prāyuṅkta means he was thrown, but it said dayitam, beloved. So same way, Krishna's beloved Prabhupada was sent. Okay, why don't you go and do something? And then Prabhupada came and he did something very substantial, very substantial. He cut through that Maya. And what time he came? Recently, by the mercy of Janmashtami Prabhu and his team, we were very fortunate to attend one course, Prabhupada Leelamrita course. Somehow or other, for long time, this was not done. And now it has been done. This Prabhupada Leelamrita course has been done. And we just tasted one drop of it. We didn't taste the full nectar. Only one drop of that nectar we tasted. It was an introductory course. Few of us were fortunate to attend. Of course, it was well advertised, and some of us turned up. And then we had this wonderful journey for about 8 days, 16 hours. We had so much of fun together, trying to explore the great activities of a pure devotee. So the Lord also does great activities, the pure devotee also does great activities. Because the pure devotee is as good as the Lord, is as good as the Lord. The Lord has fully empowered him. So therefore the activities of pure devotee are very glorious, sometimes even more glorious than the Lord himself, because the Lord wants the pure devotee to take all the credit. He doesn't want himself to take the credit. He is thinking that, okay, here is my devotee, he should take all the credit. So therefore, the Lord simply says something and then he goes away. He says that in this Kali Yuga, in every town and village, my name will be chanted. He says that, and then he goes away. Even though he is all powerful, he can make it happen, he doesn't make it happen. He just makes a statement and goes away. And then he sends his pure devotee, and his pure devotee makes it happen. And that too, under what circumstances he makes it happen is very, very interesting. It's very, very interesting. In the previous shlokas, we were reading how there were so many naked people with long hair, jumping, very dirty, very nasty, doing so many nasty things. All these things we are reading the previous shlokas. And same thing Prabhupada also faced when he was trying to establish the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. It was not very easy thing that Prabhupada actually had everything on his platter, and then people were there to welcome him, and everything was happening so nicely. It was not like that. Prabhupada started in a dark, dingy room, the very small, no facilities. Now we are sitting in such a nice place, so many windows, so much of light, so much of natural light, nice marble floor, so many facilities. But Prabhupada did not start like that. Prabhupada started in a very, very difficult place. And he was surrounded by very, very difficult people. Not nice devotees wearing some nice dress, nice kurta, nice tilak, not like that. All psychedelic people, half naked, taking LSD, going on a drug trip, shouting ha, hu, he, ho, why, ho, why. He started in a place which is a very ungodly place, very ungodly place. And he ventured with great courage. Ventured with great courage. The old man, nothing to do, very weak physically, no money, no resources, but a great plan. A great plan. And then he built this whole institution brick by brick, people by people, one place after another. This institution was not just like that built. Today we have the luxury of this institution. We have the luxury of this institution established all over the world, that we can travel, we can preach, we can do so many things. And when we go from one place to another place, we already make sure that there is somebody to receive us in the airport, somebody to take us to where we want to go, somebody to give us nice prasad, somebody to arrange class, everything done. You just walk in, and when you walk in, already someone is waiting with the garland. And then you get the garland, you go, you stay in some place, you enjoy the hospitality of those devotees, and try to do your Krishna conscious work, and then travel in different places and come back. So that facility did not come easily. Did not come easily. I want to read one small section of Lilamrita of what it meant for Prabhupada to actually spread Krishna consciousness. It's a very famous play, it's a very famous incident in Lilamrita. Very good to remember this incident. The incident about Prabhupada's kirtan in the Avalon ballroom. Though some of the New York disciples objected, Swamiji was still scheduled for mantra rock dance at the Avalon ballroom. It wasn't proper, they had said, for the devotees out in San Francisco to ask their spiritual master to go to such a place. That would mean amplified guitars, pounding drums, wild light shows, and hundreds of drugged hippies. How could his pure message be heard in such a place? But in San Francisco, Mukunda and others had been working on this mantra rock dance for months. It would draw thousands of young people, and the San Francisco Radhakrishna temple stood to make thousands of dollars. So although among his New York disciples Swamiji expressed uncertainty, he now said nothing to deter the enthusiasm of his San Francisco followers. Okay, I'll skip some more. Bhaktivedanta Swami knew he would not compromise himself. He would go, chant, and then leave. The important thing was to spread the chanting of Hare Krishna. If thousands of young people gathered to hear rock music could be engaged in hearing and chanting the names of God, then what was the harm? As a preacher, Bhaktivedanta Swami was prepared to go anywhere to spread Krishna consciousness. Since chanting Hare Krishna was absolute, one could heard or chanted the names of Krishna, anyone, anywhere, in any condition, could be saved from the falling to the lower species of next life. These young hippies wanted something spiritual, but they had no direction. They were confused, accepting hallucinations as spiritual vision, but they were seeking genuine spiritual life, just like many young people on the lower east side. Bhaktivedanta Swami decided that he would go. His disciples wanted him to. He was their servant and the servant of Lord Chaitanya. Mukunda, Sam, and Harry Cohen had already met with the rock entrepreneurs at Chet Helms, who had agreed that they could use his Avalon ballroom and that if they could get the bands to come, everything above the cost for their groups, the security and few other basics would go for the profit of San Francisco Radha Temple. Mukunda and Sam had gone calling on the music groups. Most of them lived in the Bay Area. One after other, the exciting news San Francisco rock bands. The Grateful Dead, Moby Grape, Big Brother and the Holding Company, Jefferson Aeroplane, Quicksilver Messenger Services had agreed to appear with Bhaktivedanta Swami for a minimum wage of $250 per group, and then Allen Ginsberg had agreed. The lineup was complete. On the night of Mantra Rock Dance, people lined up all the way down the street around the block waiting for the tickets at $2.50 a piece. Attendance would be good, a capacity crowd. Most of the local luminaries were coming. LSD pioneer Timothy Leary arrived and he was given a special seat on stage. Swami Kriyananda came carrying a tambura. A man wearing a top hat and suit with silk sash said that San Francisco arrived, claiming to be the mayor. At the door, Mukunda stopped a very respectable dressed young man who did not have a ticket, but then someone tapped Mukunda on the shoulder. Let him in, it's all right. He is Osley. Mukunda apologized and submitted, allowing Augustus Osley Stanley II, the folk hero and famous synthesizer of LSD, to enter without a ticket. Prabhupada was amongst this audience. Almost everyone who came wore bright or unusual costumes, tribal robes, Mexican ponchos, Indian kurtas, God's eyes, feathers and beads. Some hippies brought their own flutes, lutes, gouts, drums, rattles, horns, and guitars. The Hell's Angels, dirty-haired, wearing jeans, boots, and denim jackets, and accompanied by their women, made their entrance, carrying chains, smoking cigarettes, and displaying their regalia of German helmets, emblazoned emblems, and so on, everything but their motorcycle which they had parked outside. Devotees began a warm-up kirtan on stage, dancing the way Swami had shown them. Incense poured from the stage and from the corners of the large ballroom, and although most in the audience were high on drugs, the atmosphere was calm. They had come seeking a spiritual experience as chanting began very melodiously. Some of the musicians took part by playing their instruments. The light show began. Strobe lights flashed. Colored balls bounced back and forth to the beat of the music. Large blobs of pulsating colors spluttered across the floor, walls, and ceiling. A little after 8 o'clock, Moby Grape took to the stage with heavy electric guitars, electric bass, and 2 drummers. They launched into their first number. The large speaker shook the ballroom with vibrations. The roar of approval rose from the audience. At 10 o'clock, Swamiji walked up the stairs of the Avalon, followed by Kirtananda and Ranachora. As he entered the ballroom, devotees blew conch shells and someone began a drum roll. The crowd parted down the center all the way from the entrance to the stage, opening a path for him to walk. With his head held high, Swamiji seemed to float by as he walked through the strange milieu, walking his way across the ballroom floor to the stage. Suddenly the light show changed. Pictures of Krishna and his pastimes flashed onto the wall. Krishna and Arjuna riding together on Arjuna's chariot, Krishna eating butter, Krishna subduing the whirlwind demon, Krishna playing the flute. As Swamiji walked through the crowd, everyone stood applauding and cheering. He climbed the stairs and seated himself softly on the waiting cushion. The crowd quieted. Looking over at Alan Gilsberg, Swamiji said, "You can speak something about the mantra. I especially recommend the early morning kirtanas," he said, "for those who coming down from LSD to stabilize their consciousness on re-entry." This is what Alan Gilsberg spoke. Swamiji spoke, giving a brief history of the mantra, and then he looked over to Alan again. "You may chant." Okay, I'll skip. Then Swamiji stood up, lifted his hands and began to dance. He gestured for everyone to join him, and those who were still seated stood up and began dancing and chanting, swayed back and forth, following the Swami's gentle dance. The ballroom appeared as if it was a human field of wheat blowing in the wind. It produced a calm feeling in contrast to the usual Avalon ballroom atmosphere of gyrating energies. The chanting of Hare Krishna continued for over an hour. Finally, everyone was jumping and yelling and even crying and shouting. Someone placed a microphone before Swamiji and his voice resounded strongly over the powerful sound system. The tempo quickened. The Swamiji was perspiring profusely. Kirtanananda insisted on the kirtana to stop. Swamiji was too old for this, he said. It might be harmful, but the chanting continued, faster and faster, until the words of the mantra finally became indistinguishable amidst the amplified music and chorus of thousands of voices. And then suddenly it ended. And all that could be heard was a loud hum of the amplifiers and the Swamiji's voice ringing out and offering obeisance to his spiritual master. Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parvajakacharya Ashtotra Sadasri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Mahārāja ki. All glories to the assembled devotees. Swamiji made his way off stage through the heavy smoke and crowds, down the front stairs, and Kirtanananda and Ranachora close behind him. Alan announced the next rock group. As Swamiji left the ballroom and the appreciative crowd behind, he commented, "This is no place for a brahmachari." This is how the International Society of Krishna Consciousness was founded. By the sacrifice and valiant effort of one pure devotee. ISKCON founder Acharya Abhay Charnaravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Yeah. So therefore, we can be sure that there may be so much of ignorance thrown around us. There may be so much of illusion created by the demons of technology. There may be so many arguments for justifying a godless civilization. There may be so many challenges, but if we all stick together and if we agree to cooperate with the mission, if we try to imbibe the mood of Srila Prabhupada, then no amount of Maya can defeat this wonderful organization which is empowered by Srila Prabhupada. So I was also asked to speak something on Guru and Guru Tattva, because we are starting this series in this week, which will take us all the way up to Srila Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja. So I will also go through that. The spiritual masters. So actually this is in the form of a seminar, but I am just going to give a little bit gist, and eventually I think this seminar will be taught somewhere, right? So what is a guru? Standard knowledge is received from the parampara system, disciplic succession. Therefore it is said Shrotriyam. Shrotriyam means who has heard from the parampara system. Shrotriyam. As the result, and the result is Brahmanishtam. He, the bona fide guru, is firmly fixed in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is Prabhupada's lecture, where he, this is on Srimad Bhagavatam 3.25.4. Then the topic is that why do we need a guru? To learn almost anything, we need a teacher. But when it comes to studying the highest science, the spiritual science of self, we often naively think, why we cannot be our own guru? Why doesn't it work? But definitely, in Bhagavad-gītā 2.7, Purport says, Prabhupada says, by nature's own way, the complete system of material activities is a source of perplexity for everyone. In every step there is perplexity, and therefore it behooves one to approach a bona fide spiritual master who can give proper guidance for executing the purpose of life. So then the question is that how is the guru one? Because we have many gurus, we have different type of gurus. Then the question comes, how is the guru one? This is from the science of self-realization. A guru is one because he comes in disciplic succession. What Vyasadeva and Krishna taught 5,000 years ago is also being taught now. There's no difference between these two instructions. Although hundreds and thousands of acharyas have come and gone, the message is one. So this is how the guru is different. Guru is one because he gives the same message without adulterating the message. That's how he is one. And he has the same intention, how to deliver the conditioned soul to Krishna. The same intention. How is the guru different? Guru is different by role. There are initiating spiritual master and there are instructing spiritual masters. The initiating spiritual master is also an instructing spiritual master. Most of the time the prominent instructing spiritual master. The instructing spiritual masters are one who actually teach how to practice Krishna consciousness. The initiating spiritual master also does that, but along with that, he also gives initiation and he connects the disciple to the parampara by the system of initiation by also giving the mantra. So there is initiating spiritual master and there is instructing spiritual master. A guru is the one by also qualification. A person who is liberated acharya, a guru cannot commit any mistake. But there are persons who are less qualified or not liberated. But still they can act as guru and acharya by strictly following the disciplic succession. This is letter to Janardana on 26th April. So also by commitment, the spiritual master who first gives information about spiritual life is called Vartama Pradakshaka Guru. The spiritual master who initiates according to the regulation of the Shastras is called Diksha Guru. The spiritual master who gives instructions for elevation is called Siksha Guru. There is also Krishna, who is Chaitya Guru, who is within our heart. All genuine gurus are different manifestations of Krishna's mercy. A devotee must have only one initiating spiritual master because in the scriptures acceptance of more than one is always forbidden. There is no limit, however, to the number of instructing spiritual masters one may accept. Generally, a spiritual master constantly instructs a disciple in spiritual science, becomes the initiating spiritual master later on. So, how did Srila Prabhupada introduce the oneness and difference in God and Guru in ISKCON? On Janmashtami Day 1966, Srila Prabhupada announced on the eve of the first initiation. Initiation means that the spiritual master accepts the students and agrees to take charge, and the students accept the spiritual master and agree to worship him as God. He paused. No one spoke. Any questions? And where there were none, he got up and walked out. The students were stunned. One later asked Srila Prabhupada for clarification. Does what you told us in the morning mean we are supposed to accept the spiritual master to be God? That means he is due the same respect as God, being God's representative. Srila Prabhupada replied calmly, then he is not God. No, Prabhupada said, God is God. The spiritual master is his representative. Therefore, he is as good as God because he can deliver God to the sincere disciple. Is that clear? It was. Howard's good question encouraged Srila Prabhupada to proceed with the first initiations the next day on his own 70th birthday. So, we are very fortunate that in Mayapur, we have a long celebration of Vyas Puja. Everywhere else in the world, they celebrate the Vyas Puja on the Vyas Puja day. But in Mayapur, being a very big center, we have many celebrations of Vyas Puja, beginning with the Brahmachari celebration, the school celebration, the different preaching programs celebration, and culminating in the grand Vyasa Puja celebration of Srila Prabhupada on the Vyas Puja day. I'm sure that all of us have written our offerings for Srila Prabhupada Vyas Puja. If we have not, we should definitely write our offering for Srila Prabhupada's Vyas Puja. And for our own purification, by glorifying Srila Prabhupada, we ourselves can get purified. And then being in Mayapur, we can enjoy this whole week of hearing so much of Prabhupada Katha, trying to remember Srila Prabhupada. Not only this week, every day we should remember him. Every day we should try to read his books. Every day we should try to follow his instructions. And this way we can make our life successful. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Any questions, any comments, anything?
Regarding the mantra rack concert and the Avalon back ballroom, that kind of led to the very rapid spreading of Krishna consciousness because George Harrison of the Beatles became involved with the devotees. And then when Shyamasundar and Mukunda and their wives went to London, they were all ready for them. And shortly, the Beatles made recordings of about Krishna consciousness, And there was a period for like several months where the Hare Krishna songs were in the like, I think 3 or 4 of them were in the top 10.
Top 10.
And, you know, throughout Europe. So it just spread like wildfire as a result of that. So Prabhupada knew what he was doing.
So actually, when there are many small demons who come, many small demons are there. So all these small demons, the Lord doesn't come to fight with them. Demigods fight with them. You have so many small demons. Sometimes Lord Muruga, Skanda, he goes and fights with them. There's some other small demon, Lord Ganesha goes and fights with them. Sometimes Indra himself kills many small demons. All these small ticket demons are taken care by the demigods. The Lord doesn't come to fight with those demons. But the Lord comes to fight with really powerful demons, like Hiranyaksha, like Hiranyakashipu, who can actually finish off all the demigods, who can rule over them. There's nobody to fight with them. Then the Lord comes to fight with them. Why? When the Lord comes to fight with them, and when he kills those demons so easily, then the Lord's glory become magnified in multitude level. So the Lord also chooses his enemies and opponents. So like that, Prabhupada chose his battlefield in the Avalon ballroom. Go to the place where there is maximum ignorance, and then establish Krishna consciousness there. Just like the Lord chooses the maximum powerful demon to go and fight. Like that, Prabhupada actually chose places with maximum ignorance, and then he established Krishna consciousness there. So if in the places where maximum ignorance is there, if Krishna consciousness can be established, then Krishna consciousness becomes naturally glorious. The Lord is very intelligent, the devotees are also very intelligent. They know how to choose their battlefield. Even when, like we were studying in the class, that when Prabhupada actually started, he was in that Mishra's yoga studio, and then some of these yoga studio people used to come to his class, and he used to give class to them. Then some hippies heard that some Swami is giving class, and these hippies started coming for the class. Then these people who are supposed to be decent people, who are the yoga studio students, they objected to the hippies coming for the class. They said, "Oh, Swamiji, you should not allow these people. They are all not very good people." But then Prabhupada knew that whom to focus on. He simply did not take so much weightage to that advice. He went full on with those hippies and those young people. So Prabhupada knew that how to choose his battle. Just like the Supreme Lord chooses his demons and then destroys them, Prabhupada chose the place of maximum ignorance and then destroyed it with his Krishna consciousness. Just like a valiant general who chooses the most difficult opponent and then wins the battle so easily, like that. So, very good, very nice. Yes. There.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for the class. You made a statement earlier in the class that some people turn away from Krishna due to Krishna's arrangement. Can you please give an example from Bhagavatam? Like this?
The Jaya Vijaya themselves, they turned away from Krishna due to Krishna's arrangement. They become demoniac. They were always inimical of Krishna because they wanted to fight with Krishna. So they came from Vaikuntha, they did their pastime, and then they went back.
But do we understand that they turned away from Krishna, or they came to give pleasure to Krishna by fighting with Krishna?
Both are true. Because if you have to fight with Krishna, you have to turn away from Krishna. But turning away from Krishna by two ways. One way is turning away from Krishna and not thinking about him, like Vena. And then the other way is to turn away from Krishna to constantly think about him. So the demons were constantly thinking about him, but they did turn away from Krishna.
And King Vena turned away by Krishna's arrangement also, or by his own offenses?
If we cannot say that something independent of Krishna exists, because by definition, nothing independent of Krishna exists. So if one turns away from Krishna by his own offenses, okay, for that Krishna has to make a system. So without that system, nobody can turn away from Krishna by his own offenses also. Somebody has to make a system that if you are offensive, then you should turn away from Krishna. Somebody has to make that system. So Krishna makes that system. So Krishna makes law of nature by which people, they can turn away from Krishna and then they can suffer because they have turned away from Krishna. But Krishna is not responsible for it, but Krishna has made the system. Otherwise, there is no definition for God, that something independent of God exists to turn away from God. That system doesn't work.
I just wanted to mention something I read in the commentary, that we are turned away from Krishna eternally, like since Anadi. This is one point. And the other point is Jaya and Vijay, also in the commentary, Jiva Goswami says that they never left Vaikunta. They simply expanded into the bodies of Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. They didn't leave even 1 second of seva. So they were continuous in their seva. Something like that.
Okay, good. Okay.
Hare Krishna, thank you for the nice class. I was just thinking about, in this verse, we see the famous verse in Bhagavad-gītā, Bhoktaram Yagyata Pasam. And here we see that it's repeated that the Lord, the personal enjoyer of all sacrifices. And then Srila Prabhupada in the Purport says that Krishna is enjoying, or we need to sacrifice our goods, we need to sacrifice our
Goods, philosophical and
philosophical speculation
and meditation.
And meditation.
Meditation, yeah.
So I was thinking, like, Krishna is the enjoyer of all of this. We're sacrificing it and he's enjoying it. How is that possible? Because it seems like some contradiction where I am giving up something and Krishna is enjoying that. So perhaps you can elaborate on that a little?
Actually, all this type of sacrifices is explained very elaborately in the 4th chapter of Bhagavad-gītā. There's a section where all these sacrifices by goods, sacrifices by meditation, and sacrifices by philosophical speculation, they are all explained. Okay. So, for want of better word, the word yajna has been translated into English as sacrifice. The word sacrifice brings a connotation of giving up something for the pleasure of another person. Okay. But in case of Krishna, this is a wrong connotation, because we are giving up something to Krishna, we are most benefited than what Krishna is benefited. So therefore, the whole process of sacrifice has been explained very nicely by Prahlad Mahārāja by giving one example. What is the example he gives? He says, by decorating the form in the mirror is not benefited. We are benefited. But we are decorating the form which is reflected on the mirror. Okay. So if someone thinks that I am decorating the form which is reflected on the mirror by giving so many things to that form, so I am a great sacrificer, there can be no foolish person than himself. So, same way, if someone thinks I am sacrificing something for Krishna's pleasure, then there can be no foolish person than himself. Because when we give something for Krishna, the amount of happiness and benefit which we get is, we cannot get by any other process. That is why Krishna makes it clear in the beginning of Bhagavad-gītā itself, that neha vikramana sosti pratyavayo na vidyate swalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. There are different ways of giving up things for different people. You can give up things for your family, you can give up things for your community, you can give up things for your country, you can give up things for humanity, you can give up things for the world. Prabhupada says that these are all different isms. The different isms, by which people are inspired to give up different things for different causes. But all this giving up is simply a loss. There is no gain. Even if there is a gain, it is a very, very temporary gain, and it is short-lived gain. But whatever we give for Krishna, there is a permanent gain. What is that permanent gain? That gain is Krishna himself. So, that is why Bhagavatam is very clearly saying, Tyaktva swadharmam charanambujam harer bhajan apakko atapatet tato yadi yatra kvava badram abhuttamushyakim kovarta arto abhachatam swadharmataha. That what is the loss for a person who has done little bit of devotional service but didn't even attain maturity? And what is the gain for a person who has done his duties perfectly but he is not a devotee? So therefore, when we give things for Krishna, we are the greatest gainer. Because we give very little and we gain something of immense value. And what we give is not even the goods, because this is the very basic thing. But the highest form of giving is meditation, and in that no money is involved. Okay. To meditate, there is no money involved. Okay. But that is the highest form of giving, right? So to constantly meditate on Krishna consciousness. When we give our consciousness, then Krishna becomes ours. And if Krishna is ours, there is what more to gain in this world. So therefore, nobody becomes poor by giving for Krishna. I am not running a fundraising campaign, by the way. Okay, we'll stop here. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama.